Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to delve into a critical and complex issue, the global drug crisis. Our presentation is titled Global Drug Crisis: Scope, Causes, and Responses. We'll take a comprehensive look at the trends in drug abuse around the world, the profound impacts it has on societies, and the various strategies being implemented internationally to address this challenge. I'm looking forward to exploring this important topic with you. Drug abuse is a pervasive issue that touches millions of lives around the world. In 2021 alone, around 275 million people across regions like North America, Latin America, Asia, and Africa reported drug use. This widespread problem goes beyond individual health, causing serious public health challenges, breaking down social networks, and hindering economic growth in many communities. We've also seen some concerning trends recently, such as a sharp increase in the use of synthetic drugs and the worsening opioid crisis. These developments show how the nature of drug abuse is changing, making it a complex and evolving challenge that requires ongoing attention and new strategies. When we look at the types of drugs involved globally, opioids stand out as a major concern. This group includes heroin and various synthetic opioids, and they are mainly responsible for the majority of overdose deaths around the world. Next, cannabis is the most widely consumed illicit drug globally, reflecting its broad use despite legal restrictions in many places. Cocaine remains a significant issue, especially in the Americas, where production and trafficking are ongoing problems that fuel much of the illegal drug trade. Amphetamines and methamphetamines are seeing increased use, particularly in Asia, where their prevalence is rising and contributing to public health challenges. Lastly, we have new psychoactive substances, or NPS. These are especially troubling because their health effects are not well understood, and they pose serious challenges to legal systems trying to regulate them. Together, these drug categories highlight the diverse and complex nature of the global drug situation. When we look at the causes and drivers of the drug problem, several key factors come into play. First, socioeconomic factors like poverty, unemployment, and social marginalization make certain populations more vulnerable to drug use and trafficking. People in these situations often face limited opportunities, which can push them toward illicit activities. Next, political factors are crucial. Regions with instability and weak governance tend to create environments where illegal drug trade can flourish unchecked. Without strong institutions, it's challenging to enforce laws or implement effective prevention strategies. Another important driver is demand, which is largely fueled by addiction and underlying mental health conditions. This high consumer demand keeps the drug market active and profitable, perpetuating the cycle. Globalization also has a significant impact. It enables complex international drug trafficking networks to operate more efficiently, crossing borders and making it harder for authorities to control illegal flows. Lastly, corruption within law enforcement can seriously undermine efforts to manage the drug problem. When officials are compromised, it weakens the entire system designed to prevent and respond to drug-related issues. All these factors interact, creating a complex challenge that requires coordinated and multifaceted solutions. When we look at the consequences of drug abuse worldwide, we see a wide range of serious impacts. Starting with public health, drug abuse leads to a tragic number of overdose deaths, and it also contributes to the spread of infectious diseases such as HIV and hepatitis. These health issues place a tremendous strain on healthcare systems. Moving to social consequences, drug abuse can tear families apart, increase crime rates, and fuel societal stigma, which further isolates those affected. Economically, the cost is huge. Lost productivity means fewer people contributing effectively to the workforce, while healthcare and law enforcement expenses rise significantly to address these problems. On the security front, drug money often funds armed conflicts and breeds corruption, undermining stability in many regions. There are also serious human rights concerns. Punitive drug policies can lead to violations, sometimes criminalizing people rather than offering support or treatment. Finally, the effects of drug abuse disproportionately impact vulnerable populations, particularly youth and marginalized groups, making it a critical issue of equity as well as health and safety. Understanding these consequences helps us see why addressing drug abuse comprehensively is so essential. When we look at international responses, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime plays a central role by coordinating efforts and promoting adherence to key treaties established in 1961, 1971, and 1988. These treaties form the foundation for global drug control policies. Beyond the global level, there are regional initiatives tailored to address drug issues specific to Europe, Asia, and the Americas, recognizing that different regions face unique challenges. Harm reduction programs have become a vital part of the strategy, including needle exchange and opioid substitution therapies, which aim to minimize the health risks for individuals. Comprehensive approaches also focus on prevention, reducing demand, and supporting rehabilitation to tackle the issue from multiple angles. However, enforcement remains a significant challenge due to the diversity in national policies and the varying resources and capacities countries have to implement these measures effectively. This complexity requires continued cooperation and adaptation across borders. When we look at the global picture, drug use has increased significantly, with around 275 million people using drugs worldwide. This marks a 22% rise since 2010, highlighting a growing challenge. The impact of opioids is particularly severe, causing more than 100,000 overdose deaths each year, which is a sobering statistic. On the production and trafficking front, cocaine levels in Colombia have hit record highs. We're also seeing a rise in synthetic drug use, especially across Asian countries, which presents new challenges. Drug trafficking networks have become more powerful and complex, yet law enforcement efforts continue to target these markets, as shown by the persistently high number of drug seizures and arrests. These trends underscore the evolving nature of the global drug problem and the ongoing need for strong interventions. When we look at the challenges ahead, one major issue is the constantly evolving nature of drug supply. New substances emerge and supply patterns shift, which means we need to stay agile and adapt our strategies accordingly. At the same time, limited resources continue to restrict our ability to enforce laws effectively and provide necessary health services, making it a constant balancing act. Speaking of balance, finding the right mix between public health approaches and law enforcement is crucial. We're seeing more and more calls for policy reforms, especially towards decriminalization and harm reduction, reflecting a shift in how society views drug-related issues. Another complicating factor is the rapid growth of online drug markets, which makes regulation and monitoring much more difficult than before. Finally, international cooperation and the use of advanced technologies are becoming key tools for prevention, surveillance, and addressing these challenges on a global scale. These elements together define the future outlook we must navigate.